Yo, we covered all his optimals in part 1, but now we finally back with part 2 of DBS Broly's combos to look at his TODs. He has way more TODs than other characters. Team TODs, solo TODs with Spark, pre-Spark, Sparkless, different starters, and all over again without his armor by being long ass combos. Oh yeah, it's a lot. So while this video does say every Broly TOD, that's simply not possible with all the variations and different teams, but I'll try my best to quickfire at least one for every state, starters, and conditions, hopefully being the best for each in terms of most useful and optimal while staying practical for y'all to learn and execute in game. These advanced combos do get progressively easier. We're starting harder because we have more resources to use, so we can really try our best to squeeze and milk the optimization to the max for these conversions as best as possible. If you want to focus on something though, focus on the Sparkless ones first, since those will be the most useful for actual games. We'll start the TODs with having armor on with Spark, and our 2H punishes need to be maximized, so here's a 0-bar mid-screen one inspired by Runnin on Wata. The hardest part is the timing on that first assist extension. You can slide under them after Spark to place yourself closer to the corner. Besides that, this combo depends on your assists. High blockstun ones helps with that 6H236S extension combo ender at the end, and for his aerial 236L plus M super, hold the direction plus H plus S, which is a super dash button, to get the follow-ups, so you can do up, up, down into L plus M, the grab button for the level 2. And then there's Kaioken. Here you have to also manually input the supers, here being 5H, 5S, 5LL for example. Nightshifter managed to find a 5L 2-bar round start TOD if you have Spirit Bomb on the squad, 5L being a solid round start option that's quick and out prioritizes other common round start options, so after you kill them you can use this to start off their next character. The assist timings here are super rough though, but here's a situation where Broly's level 1 needs to be aimed diagonally up to get higher, where the level 1 DHC tracks with base Vegeta, and that height where the Spirit Bomb does more damage on its way down due to landing more hits, and that's needed to actually kill here. Since we're being skilled off rip, here's a 0-bar JH corner TOD created by Runnin on Wata a while ago, but still valid, and shows an example of how damaging his JH overhead can be without level 3s. Granted, these are using high damaging supers in this combo, so if you have more meter, you can easily shorten this combo without the nifty assist extensions and just dump a level 3, or even less with level 2s. Usually those skilled IED combos will follow similar routings as like 5L or other skill starters, so you can mix and match TODs as you see fit. Thank you Runnin for letting me use your clips. You'll see him pop up a lot throughout this video because that boy is a DBS Broly combo master, so please check him out for more. Next we got super dashes. Here's a super dash team TOD with Spark for 3.5 bars. Oh my god, man, by Nightshifter, following the same ender as the previous combo. Again, these ones, the assist timings are the hardest part because we're scaling the combo so hard and it's so long, which makes the timing more strict at the end. And this becomes a 3-bar TOD if you have another level 2 and stuff by removing the EX slam with medium at the beginning, switching out with Nappa this time for another sane connection. He was honestly just easier to time everything with, and he has a more damaging level 1. Runnin on Wata found a 1.5 bar corner super dash TOD needing more damage on the supers, so he does this by equipping Vegito, still being a very realistic team. But the combo route at the start can be challenging, although very creative, so be careful with the timings on that. That beginning link to get the 5L also seems tricky. The super dash needs to be at the right angle so J8S lands, and the 5L link can prove to be troublesome to link consistently, especially on smaller characters. Still a very cool find by Runnin. Spark whiffs are so cool, man, because it skills the combo more when the characters get hit by Spark and Blast, so if you make it whiff, you become more optimal. Runnin found some team TODs off of Dragon Rush grab, starting with 2.5 bars with the Fusion team. He has a bunch of variations on his channels, even with other teams too, so I really wanted to credit him and his creativity. Check those out for even more Dragon Rush TODs idea and other route structures. This first one isn't too hard besides the assist timings, but the rest can get tricky. It's just pretty insane with how he can TOD off a grab with his armor on, no buffs. Speaking of grabs, here's a 214H corner TOD using a level 2 on your team with Spark inspired by Nightshifter. And honestly, this is just really easy. Just gotta learn the assist timings and then meter dump, holding up, up, down on Broly's follow-ups for his super so it can link with other supers as well. So we're able to TOD off a universal grab but also command grab. This is crazy because that really raises the fear factor behind grabs, where opponents will be more afraid of getting hit by command grabs, letting your frame traps and other starters land, or even baiting out reversals out of their fear. Just remember, for actual games it'll be hard to have that much bar and all your resources ready, so make sure you're aware of your resources. Nightshifter was even able to lab up a 214L grab with spark and armor for 4 bar TOD in the corner. I tried figuring this one out myself with this team but came up short. Requested backup and boom, he got hella creative with it, using assists back to back twice to really squeeze all that damage in, so shout out to him for being a lab genius. Runnin did find a more optimal 214L TOD with only 1.25 bars using SSJ Vegeta assist though, being super tricky, so check that out if you're interested in seeing him. Now to remove spark, we can start getting into more normal TODs with better starters. Regular characters would need spark for good starters, but nah, just save that resource when you play Broly. He doesn't need spark on M starters. So for example, we can use our max damage to M route from part 1, which can link a lot of different routes together for Sparkless TODs, including different assists and supers into each other, being a lot more optimized if you wanted to by calling assist earlier and using rejumps while avoiding JS, or doing 5L2M after the JS, or you can choose to be even less optimal to make it easier by just adding more normals, using less assist, and going to supers right away from his slam, although you need a level 3 and more bar. But being able to control heights and stuff makes this link super cool. Here's an example of one of those easier versions where you need both assists. The first assist can be swapped out for his JH2L rejump for the same exact route follow-up, resulting in the same outcome, which is useful if you already used up an assist previously during the match and don't have 2 to use in the combo. But the last TOD I showed covers that with his easier J8S extension anyways. You can also go for his Dragon Rush and grabs enders if you want, since that works with more combos, where 236S used here needs a bit more hit stun to work like 6H. In the corner, 2H can TOD Sparkless with your team with 4 bars, inspired by Zam Backup on Twitter, just having to time your falling JM after JH, but once you get the feel, it's not too hard using float property. Against other characters, you can optimize further with 5L comboing into 2M 5M, but on Frieza and a few others, it's very inconsistent. You also don't need Spirit Bomb here to kill, since it deals over 300 more damage than needed, so that's reassuring. And this is just being a very easy combo, easiest one here so far, to be honest. Interestingly, Nightshifter shows us how this late scaling 5H as a frame trap can still TOD with high damaging supers as well by linking his rejump, doing delay JL, JH, 2L, 2M, etc. The rejump part is the trickiest part, but since it's so long, you need to end it with L dive into the assist timings to get the 6H ender, but needing to fully empty your meter with 2 level 2s into Spirit Bomb. Learning this extension even without bar is great to maximize resources for damage or auto combo for meter to get into Broly's level 3 ASAP, which lets us finally remove his armor after his level 3 for more damage for even more TODs. All the previous ones work obviously, since you just get a damage buff, and they end up being more optimal, having to do less or start with less meter and remove some supers. So yeah, that do be nice, but also remember he always passively generates meter in this form even during combos and super animations, so that's also helpful too, as you'll see soon. Also, destroying your armor right away should be part of your game plan, so these are going to be realistic TODs, and then by the time you're fighting the opponent's second character, boom, they're done. So like I said, in this day you're able to get even more optimal routes and unique starters to kill off of, like this super easy Shirtless Sparkless Team Super Dash TOD in the corner starting with 4 bar, literally just doing a simple BNB with the assist and then extending it again. The assist timing is hella easy at the end because of how much hit stun you have left, meaning you can optimize this way more to try and squeeze it in later, but you don't even need it. This is just an easy TOD to give y'all ideas, but speaking of optimization, here's another very easy corner TOD with 2M starting at around 0.4 bars. This actually turns into a 0 bar by holding onto the first assist and doing his rejump with that delay JL, JH, 2L extension created by Big Chap Alien 21, as it extends the combo timer longer to build more meter. That passive meter build actually works well to build the exact amount of bars needed to complete the combo. Using the Dragon Rush extension at the end helps to build more bar, but also extend extend the combo timer so your passive meter generation can generate more ki for yourself. And this works with a lot of different teams. Here's an example of a shirtless Sparkless 2L, a bit less than 3.5 bars-ish TOD mid-screen going to the corner. This is a very easy version using his auto timed loops for consistency, but can be easier with 2 level 2s, or even optimized for less meter with a regular level 3 if you have long hits and assists to extend further, like running on water with a 3-bar version extending with SSJ Vegeta assist to get extra normals to land. He also has a mid-screen shirtless Sparkless 2H, a new link that wasn't in my previous guide, linking EX dive into slow orb into beam, which is super cool. Here you have to do JS, J236H, and then hold 8 or up, which still influences the orb to slow down if you do it quick enough. Slamming them full screen away, then the orb hits, and then you have enough time for your beam to land. I'm not sure who found this route, but saving your assist for the end lets this kill with around 2 bars with most characters, as long as you have long assist for that last 6H ender. Running on water found a 3-bar no-shirt Sparkless corner light grab TOD using SSJ Vegeta's assist to fit in extra normals. This route uses the light version of his slams. Everything is pretty easy except those damn assist timings at the end, man. Feels impossible for me, not gonna lie. It do be a very unique ending though, going slam plus assist into 2L, 5L, 6H, assist, 5H, 236S. Sheesh. Now this is optimization, but I fear the inconsistency is too rough on this one. Running is simply just built different with the combos. Without armor using Spark, Nightshifter shows us how he can TOD off our super dash with 0 bars. Pretty easy route besides the assist timing at the end that's strict, and granted it does rely on Team Gohan's damage and Spirit Bomb, but this can still be solid if your team has some level 2s and more bars, since we didn't even use Broly's level 2 here, so keep that in mind with different teams and resources you have available to spend, even removing some JLs to make the assist timing less strict at the end. If you bring Spark in while shirtless, you can get a whole 2-man cross-up JM TOD with 2.5 bars. This one was found by running using 16 alongside DBS Broly. And this is just nice if your point character goes down early, you're down a team, and you don't need to rely on double assist, right? So that's really dope. Not just double assist, but double supers damage too, because you're going to be down a character to DHC into. So even without having 3 supers, you still get the job done. On the skill starter too, so sheesh. And off a good starter, 2M here, you can get a 2-man TOD with 2 bars. Maybe I should have shown off a different character instead of always using base Vegeta, but anyone can be used if you wanted to. And this just uses his normal BNBs, nothing crazy. Used a different character with different sizing to show that the combo still TODs, know what I'm saying. And it's crazy because we just used DBS's level 2 and then a level 1, and that's it. No additional supers, no level 3s needed? That is kind of crazy on a 2-man, not gonna lie. For weirder starters though, here's a shirtless J2H team with Spark TOD for around 0.75 bars by the Broly Lab Go Runnin himself, just getting yoinked out of the air, and that 5L 5H link is really finicky. It does seem universal, but the timing and different hitboxes on different characters makes it weird. He optimizes the multi-hitting assist to add more normals and to maximize the route once again. Without those extra hits, this will not kill. And if you look at that bar, the passive meter build is what gets you to that 3 bars for Jiren's level 3, since you actually don't have enough meter when you start your supers here. Insane. This is going to be the only pre-Spark TOD, being a no-shirt 6M Team 1 with 2 bars. Pre-Spark because you can't convert 6M otherwise. You can re-jump the Super Dash JL JH to L way to start with less meter, and if you don't have the assist available, but that requires some timing into it. Besides that, I showed off a super easy short version, and I finally remembered to use some different assists and characters to show off different synergy, but that Byakuya synergy is just too nice with the assist and the Spirit Bomb for extra damage, man. And if you ever land the second hit of his Autocombo, here is finally an Autocombo TOD in the corner, starting with 0 bars using a level 2. And you need multi-hitting assist to get that second Autocombo off, and different C assists behave differently at the end there, some drop earlier. This will probably never land in actual games, but I had to get an Autocombo TOD going for that meter build, man. It's just part of the Broly culture. And it's wild because you end up meter positive too with this. So if you start with meter, you can end up going to someone's level 3 for an even shorter combo. Now solo by himself, you also get an additional damage buff and different properties being in limit break state. And of course he has a bunch of TODs for that too. Usually these will be shirtless, but here's one with armor just in case and with spark. Another running one with 2mm 214S back to the corner. You need to delay your spark here. Delay your 2M after the JH from that cool bounce up you can get with a slow orb. And you can mash the 6H after the vanish. But the last empty vanish needs to be delayed for more height. Then you go into his aerial super and you can let the auto directions take over for you because they'll go down eventually, so you don't need to hold any directions here. Next we break the armor for his full screen easy 2M TOD version, this time solo and shirtless to see how that can look for 2 bars. Pretty much looks the same, just more optimal, except this time you use his EX lariat into vanish at the end. And then you have this micro dash 214S to pick them back up the ground. This link and timing takes some practice, so make sure you get in the lab for that. Here we see a different super ender using his alternate aerial super in which you can JDR for a knockdown and then perform another level 1. Here's another version of this in the corner, simplifying even more with his level 3 ender into a very simple combo for y'all. So most of his solo Sparkless ones kind of follow the same logic as before, just dealing more damage, probably end up meter positive as well because of the passive meter gain. But that's enough of his medium starter ones. Let's shift into some sparking combos before finishing with some Sparkless ones. I know kinda all over the place, but that's how Brody likes it. So with Spark you can follow the same route to TOD from 2H mid screen with like 1.1 bars. You're definitely able to be way more optimal, but at least you won't get confused with many different routes in games when the time comes. This is also the best way to cancel and optimize your supers, doing his follow-up one to land on the ground and then delay into level 3. Because if you do the alternate one for the JDR, you'll skill the supers more, I'm pretty sure. And then the grounded double orb super is hard to time with level 3 sometimes. And here's that solo Sparkless version of a 2H TOD using that JS236H holding up after the EX lariat slam down into his beam rejump ting. It's just like before, I honestly forgot to record this, so I went back and that's why the mod looks a bit rough. But if you optimize this, you can actually kill with just his level 2. Remember to micro dash after that 6H236S part to get that link to go. But this one is definitely the one that you should learn instead of the Spark one, since you know this one is way more useful and way easier too. Speaking of 2H, here's a fun spark and cancel one. This is funky, but Runnin just wanted to showcase how his special cancels can be used when he's in sparking mode, which allows you to cancel specials into each other. You normally can't do much as DBS Brody though, his specials don't usually work well into each other, but Runnin shows how it can still work to lead into a fancy flashy TOD. Not practical or useful, just a good showcase of his sparking cancels. What is useful though is his solo corner to corner EX grab TOD with spark and 5.5 bars created by Runnin. This one is on the very easy side, which makes it practical, just being a big meter dump combo but pretty useful in actual game. Just make sure you get the dash into 214S, delaying the vanish JDR to get enough height for your supers to link, because that's what was most tricky for me. My super wouldn't hit them before they land and then the combo drops at the end, and you do not want that. This also works when closer to the corner too. Here's a solo light grab TOD with spark at 3 bars in the corner. Here we use the charge 5H after the spark and then go into a simple corner loop, ending the combo off the same exact way as before by micro dashing to pick them back up into the empty vanish grab for the supers to link. Again, leaving the directions untouched since it works solo as it brings them back down to the ground for his level 3. From pressure, if you land 226S as a frame trap, you can TOD by having spark, and this variation is for 4 bars, but you can also get a ton of damage by doing J8S loops right after 214S for a near Sparkless TOD combo. I like this route by Runnin just for the unique ender, doing empty vanish after 226S, since you only get his first hit having used the smash version, into delay J2H delay jump back JDR to get enough height for the aerial super to land, or else it'll whiff since they end up hitting the ground first before your super can connect. Here's an example of hitting 226S solo from neutral for a 3-bar TOD. You can activate spark on reaction to the hit and then empty vanish as well. I just go for the basic J8S loops extensions here and end with a level 3, but you could optimize further to end up with that micro dashing to 14S into only his level 2 to kill, which is more optimal. Here's an example of a solo shirtless Sparkless Super Dash TOD for around 5 bar start using the simple J8S links loops, showing here how easy it is to kill with enough bar, even skipping that last 214S again. But yeah, you can easily optimize this to make it a 4 bar or even less honestly, but this is gonna be your simple, easy, practical version to do mid game. So fellas, not even safe from super dashes. This same exact route can be used for his JM starter, whether it's grounded after an ID during pressure, or if you catch them in the air as a poke in an air-to-air so you can maximize off any hit. Here's a solo shirtless Sparkless 2L5L TOD for 4 bars using another version of that 214S link. This time I opt to use more J8S loops, but it's not most optimal, but it is auto-timed unlike that rejump one, except that micro dash ender at the end. So it is a good combo version and worth learning in my opinion, but there's always his rejump if you're into that. Now notes on the loops, remember these loops can work with larger bodies relying on JLM for extra height so JH doesn't hit them on the way down, but these don't work on Z Broly at all. So you'd need to go into his more basic routes revolving around his delay JL, JH, 2L rejumps link. Finally, we end things off with a Dragon Rush TOD using the Slam Slow Orb link. Remember by doing JS, J236L then hold up, so that the orb slows down as you're doing the slam to link your 2L and continue from there. This one is for a bit under 4 bars, but there's also that falling floating JM conversion rejump, and Running has that on his channel. And with that, DBS Broly's TODs are completed. Hope you enjoyed. Sorry for the wait on part 2. Huge shout out to Nightshifter and Runnin on Water for killing it with the labbing and optimization of this character. Check them out for more Broly content. I'll have their links down in the description below, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.